Did you ever notice how when life finally starts to quiet down, like for a millisecond, your system starts instantly feeling uneasy, like the other shoe is going to drop? This is not a mindset issue. It actually means that you have a nervous system that is conditioned to normalize and expect chaos. My name is Elyssa Smith. I'm a trauma informed executive coach. And on today's episode of the Unlock Your Blocks podcast, we're going to be talking about why calm can feel so threatening, even when you're craving a break, and how to feel safe and happy in the life that you've worked so hard to create. So, we have to understand something before we can actually start to work on these pieces of ourselves that sort of branch out and look for chaos. Now, if you find that chaos is following you, maybe it's that the other shoe usually does drop. Maybe you've learned to expect that something goes well and then something bad happens because you have evidence of that in your history. Maybe you start your schedule starts to calm down, you start to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and then you don't even realize you're starting to take on more responsibilities. So that extra time that you had is gone and you're overscheduled again. There may be this deep unrest in you when you are not going full tilt all the time. If you grew up in a home where chaos and crises were very much normalized and expected, you would have gotten the message if stuff was always hitting the fan, people maybe weren't prepared for things, or, there was always a precarious message or a message of precariousness. Maybe a parent's job could be lost, or, maybe you didn't know how your sibling would react to something or a parent would react to something. So if you knew that there could be exploding moments in your household, your little body, your nervous system just imprinted that, took it in as information, like a little data collection service. And it would have just been like, okay, we got to stay alert. We got to normalize all of this because we can't cope with the idea that maybe this is harder than the average life is supposed to be. We just got to take what we've been given. So you would have normalized it and moved on with a sense of heightened alert at all times, which means that when something starts to get calm, oh, this is unfamiliar. That doesn't work for me. And I don't know what to do or expect in this case. You might also have learned, maybe if you don't relate to that, you may relate to this, that calm in your household was followed by emotional or physical unpredictability. So you never knew, like, oh gosh, does this quiet mean everything's okay? Is dad not going to yell, or is he going to yell? And then you learned that the quiet in the house, rather than being a peaceful oasis, was actually a warning signal before an impact. So if it was quiet and people were on eggshells and then something unpredictable happened, that's what it would serve as. It serves as a little warning sign. Maybe you were praised for how you handled crises. Maybe you were the little adult, you were parentified early. Oh my gosh, look at how well you handled that. Wow. So you begin to get your worth in being able to navigate stress and chaos, manage it well. So, your system in any of these cases, or no matter how you grew up, if you currently find that chaos is just following you, your system probably coded chaos as not only normal, but calm as unsafe and unfamiliar. So you wouldn't have learned, oh, yes, and this is how we fully take up our space and we fully rest and we fully pay attention to ourselves and we check in with our body. You wouldn't have learned any of that. Granted, the generation of parents that's now raising children, we're the first people that are actually doing that with our children, right? So nobody really got this before the last 10 years. But regardless, you deserve to have that. And what happens when you don't have that as a child is that when life slows down as an adult, you get restless, you get uneasy, you feel compelled to fill the silence, either the silence in your schedule, you fill it with tasks, or you can't sit in quiet yourself. Your brain has to keep going. Even when you're trying to have a vacation, your brain might just keep going and you can't slow everything down, and your body finally starts to get used to rest when you've been gone for a week and now you're coming back. So you might fill up everything with busyness. You might notice that when you feel peace, there's like a sense of guilt underneath, or a sense of hypervigilance, like you're scanning the horizon for threats. You're worried something's about to go wrong. And maybe you had family messaging that actually confirmed that. Like, oh, don't I have one client, she learned not to talk about her success because she was gonna jinx it. So like, oh, well, we don't talk about being happy. We don't rest in feeling peaceful because the second you start to enjoy it, it's gonna be jinxed. It'll go away. You might also find that you're sabotaging your calm seasons. So life naturally ebbs and flows, and you go through seasons of, building your business, building your career, building your family, whatever it is that you're working on, building your abundance, your wealth. And then we are naturally designed to ebb and flow in those processes so that we can sustain it. We need to be able to sustain the level of growth that we are going for. However, if you sabotage the calm seasons, you will burn out so quickly, and you'll find that maybe you're taking on unnecessary obligations, you're overcommitting yourself really fast when you start to see a breather coming your way, instead of fully breathing in that breather and using it to recharge your next forward motion with inspiration. You probably also, if you have normalized chaos in your life and it kind of follows you around, you probably also are feeling really exhausted right about now. And so, as you're looking ahead at the next jump that you want to make in your business, your career, in your personal life, in your personal growth, your awareness, your abundance, whatever it is that you're going for next, you have to be able to look at it like, okay, I got to sustain my efforts here. I can't just be feeling uneasy with rest, because rest is such an important part of the conversation here, such an important part of the formula. So, this is going to prevent you, if you can't get calm and comfortable with being calm, it's going to prevent you from your balance and the ease that you need to sustain the big leaps that you were meant for. So, when you find that calm is feeling a bit uncomfortable, pause and see if you can name what your body is sensing. Our nervous system is in the body, right? Like, it's actual parts of our body. So it will have sensations. I have some clients that tell me it feels like their nervous system is buzzing when they're not feeling super safe. You might have a stomach ache. You might notice you get a migraine when you're really stressed. The extreme of this is like panic attacks and things, but we want to catch this before it gets to a panic attack. We want your body to feel safe enough to send you little messages and you respond. So pause and name what your body is sensing instead of pushing through that pain. Girl, I know it's hard. I know you want to push through that pain. Don't do it. Don't do it. We have been pushing through pain for so long that our system is not really used to receiving and resting and sitting and having stillness. So even if you've been working on this for some part of time, but you really still kind of are always scanning for, well, I second guessing, like wonder if the next thing is going to hit the fan, this is something that you can just practice gently. So, a bite sized way to practice this is that you can regulate your system to small doses of quiet. You don't have to go gangbusters, okay? You can, but you don't have to. So, you want to come at this from the perspective of, I am going to do what my body can tolerate, what my mind can tolerate today. So, all I mean by this is that you practice regulating in maybe like 1 to 2 minute blocks. If you have not mastered, bigger blocks of rest, I want you to start with little blocks of calm in your day. So 1 to 2 minutes of just breathing. My 3S framework is to take 3 deep breaths for your first S. Your 3 S's are safety, self-nurturing, and support. So safety, take those 3 deep breaths, convey some safety to the system. We're not running from a wild animal. And then self-nurturing is to make yourself a cup of tea or do something that hits all 5 senses to really help your system know that we're not actually running full tilt to try and get away from an animal. And then your safe support, you reach out to one of your besties and you help yourself feel connected to your tribe, because then your brain understands, oh, we have a tribe. We're not going to get picked off by a predator. So you can do that in 1 to 2 minutes. Your body is going to start to learn. It's going to get new evidence. You have old evidence that says chaos is what's available, and that is where our skill set is going to be. But you can develop a new understanding that says, hey, peace is where it's at. I'm going to develop a new skill set for calming my body when it's not feeling safe with rest or peace, when it feels like it needs to follow the chaos and create more and go after that next big thing instead of just resting for a hot minute. This also, your FOMO is going to fight you on this. Can I just tell you from experience? I can get the worst FOMO because it'll be like, oh, but I love to do that thing and it doesn't drain me to do it. But I haven't had a lot of downtime, or I haven't had, the moments that I need of recovery, after a big trip, or even just needing a little extra downtime, and I don't have that. But I want to, the achiever in me, or the dancer in me, listen, don't threaten me with a good time. You tell me we're going dancing, we're going dancing. But that part of you can really try and run the show, because you're looking for the next hit. We call it the inner drugstore in the brain. So if I'm at rest, I don't have the adrenaline. I don't have the cortisol, and my body might not know what to do with that. It's used to having a hit of chemicals when we get into the next big thing. So we have to treat our bodies with such gentleness and such compassion that it's not used to not having those adrenaline type levels of chemicals coursing through our veins. So just being so gentle with yourself and noticing where the resistance is and noticing when that FOMO comes for you, it's going to, and I'm you gotta do this for yourself. Be strong. Don't give in. Just really make your decisions based on, is this the most gentle path? Is this going to encourage the sustainability that I need in the way that I do things so that I can get to my next level?
So I want you to interrupt the urge that you feel, and I know it can be strong. It can be a strong force. I want you to interrupt that urge that you feel to gravitate toward chaos or worry or whatever it is. You might even not overschedule yourself in that moment, but maybe you're just staying worried and anxious the whole time. You're not able to sleep. Okay. So I want you to ground yourself in that moment. And that can be anything that causes your body to feel safe and calm. Again, you can do the three S's. You could do your three deep breaths. I want you to, if you can, you want to really tune into how the weight of your body in the chair beneath you, or like how your legs feel heavy with your feet on the floor. That type of grounding exercise tends to help the nervous system feel held. You can also do what's called a butterfly hug. And so you tap your left shoulder, right shoulder, and you tap back and forth, giving yourself a gentle squeeze. This helps the vagus nerve and the left and right brain all communicate, hey, we're safe. It's going to be okay. So you interrupt that urge to fix it. It feels very uncomfortable to sit with at first, but you can do this in small doses. You can handle it. And then you're going to check with, what is the feeling? What's the emotion underneath that general discomfort with the slowing down, with the ease, with the peace and the calm? What is the thing that is motivating you to introduce more stuff and go fix it and go find it and not sit still? Is it grief? You might have some grief. We're actually going to talk about that in one of the next episodes, this hidden grief that we oftentimes carry when we've been pleasers and perfectionists our whole lives. Is it anger? Is it impatience? Is it anxiety and fear? You want to name those emotions, because once you name them, they have less power over your system, and you can start looking at it as a little bit more of an observer instead of being in it yourself. So, if you want to take the next steps with some nervous system regulation, I want to invite you to download my free PDF, five nervous system hacks that you can do at your desk just during the day. It doesn't take very long, and I will send them right to your email inbox. So you can go to elyssasmith.com/reset. You can check all the show notes for all the links from today that I've mentioned. And I really hope that you'll take such good care of yourself until I see you next time.